Thank heavens for that. Oh, brilliant. Yes, just had a bit of trouble going live this morning, so we're all good. Lovely. So there we are. That's just a sign birding. Well, good morning to you, everybody. Oh, we had a bit of a shock this morning. We couldn't go live. We couldn't press the live button, but we are live, folks. So there we go. We're all good. So lovely to see you all on various platforms today, hopefully. So, gosh, and relax a little bit now that we're live. So welcome to Leaderslive. I'm Andrew Jenkins, and this is a short countdown timer to help us with the various live feeds to catch up and to settle down, folks. So, yeah, we can't wait for today's groovy show, and today we'll be hanging out with Elaine Godley, former CEO and COO, and now an award-winning health and wellbeing specialist for leaders and SMEs. So, morning to you, Elaine. How are you doing?
Morning. Greetings from the Algarve in Portugal.
Greetings
Great to
from
be here.
the
Thanks.
Algarve. I think that deserves a ooh. So, and helping us to engage this morning, we have Birdie Hugo, our fabulous moderator, chipping in, and she'll be keeping the interaction flowing. Give us a quick wave and a quick hello, Birdie.
Hi everyone, it's nice to be back. Hope everyone enjoyed the holidays.
Back after the holiday break, yeah. So music by my Uncle Peter, and this is the 63rd show, folks. Fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed that short little intro jingo from Your DMS after the countdown. And we're so delighted that we're powered by Your DMS, our Leaders Live sponsor. And Jack Wright is in the room today. He is one of the directors at Your DMS, so we're super excited to have him in the room. So thank you again for sponsoring us. More about Your DMS as we go through the show, folks. So just so you know. So, let me just see where I am at the moment. Okay, so oi people, it's Leaderslive showtime, folks, and it's just after 8:45 a.m. here in the UK. So, Sawabuna Abantu, a lovely, beautiful Zulu word for hello people, and it means I see you all deeply. I direct my attention totally to you this morning, all completely with love and joy. How about that? So, and we are live with Leaderslive, spreading the love, folks, spreading the love. And it's great to see Yvonne and Dr. Ian Price, my mate, Christopher Beacons, good morning, Paul Winfield, good morning, Matthias, Jack Wright, fantastic. Who else have we got? We've got a LinkedIn user saying, "Oh, you're making me jealous." Sarah Jane Juniper, good morning, and Jonas, good morning. Debbie John, whoop whoop. Hey Elaine, one of your mates. So that's great. Linda Wood, great to see you. There, Joe Cooper. Coops is in the room as well as Cecile. Fantastic. So there we go. And keep the conversation going, please. So, okay, where are we? So we're streaming out on LinkedIn today. We're streaming out on YouTube, Facebook pages, profiles, groups, Twitter, Twitch as well. Ta-da! It's amazing how all these things work. And if you can't catch us live or on the replay, fear not, my friends, we have you covered. You know, we're going out on podcast too. And we are super duper excited to be hopefully streaming out live on my all brand new leaderslive.tv website too. So fingers crossed that we're streaming out live on that as well. And September, we hope to launch a brand new early evening business show called Leaders Live Fishbowl. So I'll tell you more about that as we go along. And we're also going to launch a backstage area for you VIP folks to join in before and after the event. So all that lots to come. And we need to be on Discord to make that work, folks. So Birdie will pop the link of Discord in the chat. Please join Discord server for us, for the Leaders Live server. So that would be great. And this is an interactive show, folks, so please get involved, join in, ask questions, network with a live community, and even a little friendly banter. And if you can hear that spaceship in the background, that's actually Elaine's computer with a fan going. So yeah, smash those likes as well too, and those thumbs up. We really appreciate that. Keeps us all motivated. And please subscribe to our Leaders Live YouTube community for all updates too. And the link will be in the chat shortly as well. And if you want to buy me a coffee, we've got a great app called Buy Me a Coffee. /Leaderslive. So if you like what you're hearing, then please, by all means, buy me a coffee. It's an awesome little app. It's a bit of fun as well. So, and on top of all that lot, we also have... We're also going out live on lots of different people's platforms. We're going out live on Elaine's platform and Marketing CX's platform and Birdine and hopefully Jack as well. So yeah, we're spreading out, folks. So phew, put it all together. What have you got? Yeah, you got it. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. So let's bring in this week's Leaders Live guest. As already mentioned today, I'm hanging out with a lovely Elaine Godley. Now, Elaine, she knows a thing or two about managing healthy behaviour in today's busy business environments and workplaces because she's beaten off 4 cancers. She's cured herself of kidney disease and has first-hand experience of burning out too. She's also got rid of stage 4 cancer in 3 months. I mean, that is pretty cool stuff, Elaine. So Elaine has developed a unique program benefiting business leaders and teams to anticipate and prevent ill health at work called the DISC Health Formula. And we'll learn all about that today. So, how are we doing, Elaine?
Fabulous as always. That's always my response, Andrew. Every day is fabulous. And as you say, after stage 4 cancer, when somebody tells you you've got less than a year to live, unless you do exactly what they tell you, you have a different perspective on life thereafter. So my perspective is every day is a blessing. Every second.
Is a blessing. Yeah, I completely get that. Yeah, and every day's a fantastic day, right, Elaine? I like that. So where are you taking us today, Elaine? Just give us a little bit of a background in terms of where you're taking us today.
Okay, so as you've mentioned, I've had various different health situations. I don't call them illnesses, and people, when I say to people what's happened over the years, I mean, that's just a tiny snippet. But what's happened to me in lots of different areas over the years, they go, oh, I'm so sorry. And, you see their face drop. And I go, no, all of these things that happen to us are lessons. And I got 4 lots of cancer because I wasn't listening. I kept on getting, recurrences of various different parts of my body because I wasn't listening. So a lot of what happens in this fast-paced world today kind of happens to us, and we don't notice it. We life is such a fast pace where we're on the treadmill the whole time with the work, with the social media stuff, and the pressure from everybody. At home, we've got pressures. At work, we've got pressures. Our friends put pressure on us, sometimes well-meaning, but that's what happens. So we have to be these superhuman beings, and we forget about us. We forget about our body, and the body will heal itself if you give it the right environment. So I've created a model through my experiences. I mean, whoever would have thought when I got trained in DISC over 25 years ago, or around about 25 years ago, that I would be launching something now that links with health. And people who do know about DISC, we'll talk about what DISC is in a minute, but people who do know about DISC can't understand how I've linked the health piece. So we'll be talking about that today as well.
Brilliant. Thank you for that little summary. And I think that deserves a... Okay, so Elaine, kick us off. You have a question for the audience.
I do. And it's... what was it about? It was about pressure, isn't it? How you behave under pressure. Could you remind me, Andrew?
Yeah, no problem. How do you behave, folks, when you are stressed, out of balance, or having a really bad day? So please put your answers in the feed. How do you behave, roughly speaking, generally speaking, when you are stressed, out of balance, or having a really bad day? This is an opportunity for you to kind of get into the groove as well in terms of our interactions today. And we'll come back to this in a minute, folks. There's a slight delay in the feed, so we'll come back to that in a short while. And I'll come back to you as well, Elaine, just a tick. So a quick bit about our moderator. And during the countdown, I briefly introduced our Birdine, our fantastic, fabulous, amazing moderator. Over to you, Birdine, to say a bit more.
Good morning, everyone, from it's not cold, but it's sunny Western Cape in South Africa. So there's snow on the mountains, busy melting. And then just quickly, if you all have noticed, Andrew is growing a bit of a moss on his face. So let us know what you think about that as well.
Yes, please, that'll be good. Comments in the box, please. Yeah. It's 16 days in, folks, so it's still a little bit rough and ready, but yeah, we're getting there. So yeah, thanks, thanks for the tease. We like a bit of banter on this show, as you'll probably find out. So as mentioned, Leaderslive is an interactive show, so please join in. Don't be shy. Use the comments for these questions and to engage with us and have a bit of banter as well. Remember, it's a group conversation. So for you regulars, set the example. You know how it goes. Lead the way. Show us how we roll. So a quick intro to your DMS Get to Know You in 5 slot. We've got a Get to Know You in 5 slot, which looks a little bit like this. So at the halfway point, we have a 5-minute interlude slot on Leaderslive, and we have it again today. It's called Your DMS Get to Know You in 5, where we briefly introduce a regular on the show so we can all get to know each other a little bit more. So today we've got the wonderful Jonas Grauer Thompson. I hope I've pronounced that right for you, Jonas. So, and today's show we are showcasing, as I said, a regular watcher, Jonas, who is an expert in exoskeletons for disabled people, and he is the business owner of Nordic Bionics. Fantastic. And Jonas will join us live, as I said, during the halfway intermission period when we serve ice creams, not really, to our fabulous this is sponsored by our fabulous sponsors, Your DMS, just so you know. So that's coming up. So back to the lovely Elaine. Let me just find the guest scene quickly. Here we go. There we go. Back to you, Elaine. So just before we begin, let's just give you a round of applause. Hey. So what
it's a bit like getting the golden buzzer in that, what do you call it, that talent show thing.
Was it the golden shot or something? Was that what it was called?
No, it's modern. That's it, X Factor, yeah.
Ah, there you go. There, Berdine's got it. So, Berdine, what's going on just before we get going? What's going on in the comments? Let's just pick a few comments up.
Okay, so Holly Bagley said, I have a nap. Ian Price said, go outside and breathe. Jo says that she switches off. Matthias said, I go for a run in the woods once I have the time. Paul said, meditate outdoors in nature.
Wow.
Linda Wood said, I noticed that I start trying to do too many things at once without focus, and then I step back and take time out.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks, Linda.
Jonas said, I go for a long run. Then I think this is Guy. Everything
Guy,
I know I shouldn't. I dig deeper and neglect self-care. Christopher Bierkmans, when I'm stressed, I'll keep to myself and stay quiet. Headphones in and crack on. I also clear my plate and only take one thing at a time.
Headphones on, crack on. I like that. Yeah.
This. Paul said that's not a beard, Andrew, by
the way. Paul has got the most amazing long beard. I mean, he looks like it's just a fantastic. We'll get a picture of Paul in a minute. We can find one. He's got the most amazing beard.
Jack Wright said, I take myself away from the situation and reflect.
Yeah.
Hi, Amber. Welcome. Thanks
Hello,
for joining
Amber.
us.
Yeah.
Lisa Beck.
My mate Lisa.
Said, I'll withdraw, overthink.
Yeah, I know Lisa very well. Yeah. Lisa is a fantastic person. So, and she's had some difficulties too that she's had to overcome. So welcome, Lisa. Sorry, carry on, Berdine.
Joe said, I must admit, I do like a beard. Knocks years off. Yeah,
there you go. There's my mate, Coops. Well done. Thanks, Coops.
Joe, I don't know about that. I think Sarah and I beg to differ there. The guy said, pause, breathe, and smile, and a cigarette then... Not words to be used only here if there's kids watching, on myself.
Yeah.
Christopher Beckman said, if the stress is really bad, I'll clean my desk or house. I find a quick, tidy, makes a world of difference to my mindset.
Isn't that true? You know, I remember doing my finals, Chris, and I would do anything but revise, so the house was spotless. Yeah, it's a kind of delaying tactic, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. Great. Thanks, Christopher.
Yes. Good morning, Roland.
Morning, Roland.
Janice said, have heard it pronounced it worse.
Oh, yeah, that was my pronunciation of
his name.
Yeah, we'll find out for real
Yeah.
shortly.
Good morning, Stephen LaRue. He's from Melkbosstrand. This is in
South
Africa in the Western Cape. Ian said, Emma, I think this is most of us too.
To be fair, yeah. Great. Here we go.
Tilly said, take a minute to breathe. And by that, I mean do something that will lift your spirit.
Yeah.
Have a coffee date, watch a comedy movie, read a book, or just take a walk. Shift the perspective of whatever induced stress.
Lovely. Love that. Brilliant. Thank you. Yep. Thanks, Tilly.
And then Anber said that he meditates. And Matthias said, Jonas, similar stress management strategies. Seems like Scandinavian countries have several similarities.
Yeah, I would say that's probably right. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you all. Super duper. Okay, so Elaine, you are a DISC expert. So give us a little bit of background. You know, how does DISC work in a short, very short, brief nutshell? You know, just describe to us the whole DISC process for us. You might need some supporting slides for this. Let me find them for you.
Okay, I was actually just going to make a quick comment on the comments.
I'm so sorry. Let's do that first. Absolutely.
So
sorry, I got ahead of myself. Go for it. Yeah, let's make some comments. Elaine, over to you.
Okay, so interestingly, the comments will relate to the behaviour type of the individuals.
Indeed.
So
yeah,
we all deal with stress in different ways, as we've seen from the comments. But some people going for a run is the thing that really shifts. Other people sitting with a book quietly, going for a walk, whatever. So your stress relief is basically dependent upon your behavioural style. That gives a problem if you've got a mixed behavioural style. So some people are introverts and extroverts, which can cause problems down the road. But we haven't got time to talk about that today. But yeah, very interesting in the comments. And we've got a wide variety of different type of DISC profiles here. Yeah. And you did a poll, didn't you, Andrew, a few days ago?
Here's the poll for you. So I asked this question, didn't I, Elaine? Carry on, go for it, Elaine.
Yeah, so which of the generalised tendencies will best describe when you're stressed, out of balance, or having a really bad day? So this is similar to the comments, you know, in terms of percentages. It's a mix of what people do. So let's have a look at those DISC slides then, Andrew, and I'll talk through.
No problem.
I know some of the audience do understand about DISC, so I'm not going to go into great detail, but for those who don't, I can do a high-level summary.
Yeah, and Steve Whittle just says this, which I think is a really good point as well. Look, folks, not all stress is bad. Positive stress gets shizzle done. Love that. Morning, Steve. Yeah. So, completely agree. Okay, over to you on this little brief summary of DISC.
Okay, yeah. So I use the DISC model, and the reason I use that, I mean, there's hundreds of models out there now, but I use DISC because I can use it with 12-year-olds and chief executives and everybody in between, no matter what their situation is.
Cool.
So if you Google DISC, you'll find different words. I use these words because I find they're softer than the DISC words. DISC words are dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. And many, many years ago, when I was a consultant with schools, I was finding if you give feedback to somebody who's dominant, I'm not dominant, how dare you, kind of thing. So I had a group of associates that I trained, and we came up with these words which we use.
So you've modified the language slightly,
Yes, absolutely, but still keeping the DISC mnemonic.
Okay.
And the reason the animal pictures are there is because we were teaching children as young as like 5-6-year-olds, kind of kindy age. And if you can give them an idea of the animals and ask them what animals' behaviour, and ask them if you were one of these animals, which would you choose? Sure as eggs are eggs, they go to the one that they identify, which reflects their personality. So what that does, it gives the teachers an indication of how to nurture and support, rather than trying to fit, one size fits all with a lesson plan. So you can imagine that had a knock on lesson planning. We actually, the work that I did with them, we had a piece of reporting in Times Education supplement way back 20 odd years ago now going. So it's such a really, really helpful tool that you can use with young children, with your grandchildren, if you've got any, your family. I've helped lots of families get back together. But I love using it in the workplace, helping teams to understand one another. So it's a generic model. There is science behind it, but I don't go into all the science and stuff. Each of the styles has health challenges that come with it. So this slide here, again, it's very generic, and I'm not saying that if you've got these tendencies, you will get these conditions. Of course, I'm not. But the high Ds tend to try and improve and control everything. High Is do too much. S and Cs have more internal types of conditions. So it's very easy to predict once you know what the dysbehavioural style is, and you can predict this health patterns in your teams. And with organisations, we can preempt what's going to happen by then the management side of projects. So if you have Ds and Is in a project and S and C types in a project, then you need to look at the pace that people work at, and it's very easy for intimidation and then bullying types of conversations. Oh, you're bullying me and I haven't got time and blah, blah, blah. And it all gets out of control. So understanding what your style is, what your team members' styles are, and for the leader to manage that piece can be quite complicated. But when you use this model and the way that I've constructed it, it does make sense. I think there's another slide, Andrew.
There is. Yeah, there we go. There we are.
Can't remember what's on it. All right, okay. It doesn't come up very well on this particular screen, but this gives an idea of opposites. The reason that I put colours there, DISC is not a colour model, but some models now, front ends are colours, and they'll say, "Are you a red, blue, a green, yellow, or whatever?" So if you are profiled on other styles, this gives you an indication. So the high D is the red, I is the yellow, and so on. But the opposites can irritate one another. So it's good to know, who winds you up.
So is that the diagonal lines? Is it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the opposite. So the direct and the supportive. So that's in the animal terms. That's the lion and the dog. The puppy dog, or the loyal Labrador. So if you have somebody in the team who's a Labrador, loyal, kind, caring person with a lion, it's not rocket science to work out how quickly that relationship, could fall to pieces if each doesn't understand the other. So conversely, with the dolphin and the owl, dolphins like to chat. They're flitting here, there, everywhere. Butterfly is another animal that we could have used, whereas the owl sits there, looks around, doesn't really say much. So you can just, imagine that with the behaviour of people, can't you? So every picture tells a story. So that's why you keep to the pictures.
Lovely, and the animals make it a great mnemonic as well. So thank you for that. That's a great little introduction, and I like the way that the top half of this, the direct and the inspiring, the red and yellows here, can be quite fast paced, and it can. Whereas the lower part of this, if I've got this right, the blues and the greens will take their time to be more cautious and more detailed oriented, perhaps. So actually, there could be some constraints that happen there as well. I think Elaine's just frozen for a minute. I'm sure she'll come back in a minute. Are you still there, Elaine, for us?
I'm here.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, you've gone a bit pixelated for now. So if it gets worse, we'll just come back in and come out and get back in again. But it's okay for now. Let's just pose another question for you, Elaine. Actually, we've got another question for the audience here. Have you got that to hand, or do you want me to say it, Elaine?
I have. Yeah. It's what warning signs do you have that make you aware that you might be approaching burnout? Okay. So what is it that signals, what are the signals to you that show you that you might be approaching burnout?
Great. And the questions in the chat, folks.
Pop the comments.
Yeah, so there's a little bit delay in the feed, so while that's coming through, tell us a bit about your own personal journey while we're waiting for that feed to come through, from illness to health, Elaine, and how did that inspire you to set up this disc health formula and your other offerings as well? So take it away for us, Elaine.
Okay, so I started my first business. I was about 21, 22, and it was at the same time that I got diagnosed with a kidney condition.
Right.
I was a competitive swimmer all my teens, and I used to get projectile vomiting and waterwork infections on a regular basis, and they put it down to the chlorine in the water. Anyway, I was told I'd be on medication for life, and for the next 23 years, I was taking a rotating cocktail of 3 different antibiotics. 23 years in my. So the business, I did the business, that was great. With my second husband, we built it to nearly 2 million turnover.
Gosh.
So I had experience from startup to, doing great things. It was in the kitchen industry, and I can walk along the Thames and show you all the kitchens that we put in, or the buildings rather.
Brilliant.
We had 4 showrooms, we had a concession in Oxford Street, we did all Harrods work. So I had a great lessons on dealing with people. No business experience whatsoever, no support, no mentors, no nothing in those days. I'm going back now to the late 70s to early 80s. So it was a different world to what the youngsters in business have got today. And then in my mid 40s, so the business went really well, but then it also went to pieces. My second husband was an alcoholic, and things were changing in the industry. So the marketing, we didn't see what was happening in the industry. We were selling kitchens at 25,000 in those days, and people were just like then spending 5 or 10 and then replacing them every few years. So the market changed, and we hadn't seen what was happening. Anyway, so I then ended up going into corporate, where I became chief executive of a law firm. Eventually, I did an MBA in legal practice at Nottingham Law School.
Wow.
And became chief operating officer at Ernst & Young, and had 200 and something staff reporting into me.
Wow.
So that was, I didn't go straight in at that level. I went in as an administrator, and then worked my way up and did my MBA and so on and so forth. But that is an indication of my personality style. It's not something everybody can do, and I'm realizing that the older I get, the more unusual I am compared to the average bunny. But you mentioned illness. I don't consider myself ever to have been ill. I've been inconvenienced. I haven't been ill. It's I've just had a different mindset to other people. So in my 40s, I was introduced to a chiropractor. I got to the point one day where I literally couldn't walk, and it turns out I had a dislocated hip. From then I learned that my pain threshold is very high, so I was struggling around with a dislocated hip. Anyway, that all got put back together, and I then told him about my antibiotics I was on, and between him and his girlfriend, who was a nutritionist, I learnt about food, diet, nutrition. And I literally took myself off of the antibiotics over a period of months. So if anybody's on drugs and they're listening to this and think they can do that, no matter what drugs you're on, 99% of drugs can be managed a lot better than currently. I have been trained in all this as well, so I'm not just giving a load of hot air out. So the antibiotics came off, and I've not taken any since. So that was over 20 years ago.
Wow.
So I cured myself completely of a condition that's called medullary sponge kidneys. It's very rare today. And the only person I've ever met who's had it, doctors didn't understand what the condition was, so I was forever telling them. The only person I've ever met had a kidney removed. So there we go, but I beat it. So that was my first experience 20 something years ago. And then, the corporate life took its toll. And I walked out of a position, a very senior position in 1998, because I couldn't cope with the corporate values, which was so different to my own values. So being true to myself, I honoured myself. I walked out thinking that no problem, I'd get something else. But I wasn't meant to. I ended up then the next 20 odd years being a business consultant, helping teams with turnarounds, teams that were not working very well. And I used the DISC profiling through all of this time.
Wow.
So that then led me to burning out, because I was working with clients till sometimes 2-3 o'clock in the morning, working on their work, not physically with them, and then getting up at 6 o'clock doing it all again, kidding myself that it's, I just love it, what I do. So it wasn't work. I was hiding, from the realization that I was burning out. And then I finished a really big project in February 2009. I was running the legal department for the London Borough of Hillingdon, and I was managing partner there. And the next month, I got my first breast cancer diagnosis. And then from then on, I've had various different cancers. And stage 4 in 2015, when I was told I would have less than a year to live, unless I did exactly what the medics told me to do, which of course I didn't. I did my own version, and I beat it in 3 months. So
well done.
There we go.
There you go. What a fantastic, I mean, we could listen to that for ages. So thank you for that. I'll give you a bit of a break temporarily while, and Jonas, just to let you know, I've got you in the room. Thank you, Jonas. We'll come to you in a moment. Right. So Berdine, what have we got in the room? There's loads going on. Let's see if we can just pick a few of these out. What's going on?
Yeah, so we're getting a lots of love for your DISC approach, Elaine.
Yeah.
Everyone loves your approach to DISC. Then on the second question, Debbie said broken sleep is a sign for her.
There we go.
Joe said, I think my burnout is in place when I've lost interest, become lethargic, but also have insomnia.
Yeah.
Sleep difficulties. Jack said headaches and also cannot focus on anything.
Yeah.
Linda said, I tend to get more sensitive emotionally, much more reactive.
Yeah.
Guy said, I become clumsier than usual. I retreat into myself and avoid contact with people.
Yeah.
Yvonne said, migraines, headaches.
Yeah.
Matthias said, burnout warning signs. You are easily irritated. You struggle to get up from bed in the morning. You have lost interest in things you previously used to enjoy. And your mental health starts to decline.
Yeah.
Guy said, Elaine, you come across as a very focused and determined business lady. Perfect. Spreading your amazing story of survival and new growth.
Yeah. Whoop, whoop. There you go. Well done, Guy. Thank you. Yeah.
Janice said, I'm almost entirely dominant and innovative, and I'm extremely extrovert. The way I know that I am on my way to a burnout is that I get introvert and quiet.
Yeah.
Probably quiet.
Okay.
Okay, and then Tilly said, I become less productive on whatever I'm working on, easily annoyed and irritable. Anva said, a lack of focus and distraction. Yeah. Jack said, Jack's giving you some love, Elaine. You're amazing, Elaine. People around you are very lucky and you're inspirational.
There you go.
Paul said, it's important to be true to yourself. And then Anba just said, awesome insights.
Awesome insights. There we go. And then one of your mates, I think Tim Seymour here, says, what's this one? It's part of our weekly mastermind group, is Elaine, and she provides so much value and support for all the various attendees. I can highly recommend you taking the DISC profile test with Elaine. There you go. There's a shout out for you. Lovely. Thanks, Tim. Brilliant. Morning, Tim. So there we go. And Tilly says, in the midst of everything, did you ever feel like giving up, and how did you handle that? What kept you motivated? Let's answer that quickly before we move on. That's brilliant.
Yes, I am human, and yes and no. I'm a very high D and a very high I personality style, so that's the red and the yellow.
Yeah. And
I'm very low on the process and the rules and everything. So if somebody tells me not to do something, that's every reason to do it. And nobody tells me I'm going to die.
Yeah.
You know, they can go do something for themselves. You know,
How dare they?
I normally swear a lot. I'm
Beep, 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 beep.
I'm passionate. Yeah. So no, you don't tell me when I'm going to die. I'll
Quite
sort
right.
that, you know, myself. Thank you very much. And
Brilliant.
I've actually said years ago I'm going to be 142, and I've learned recently that our bodies
Right.
are between 130 and 140. We can all make it. So I'll see you
Wow.
all around. Those of you who are here.
Well, we'll be
in,
checking
a few
if we're
years.
still around. Brilliant. Thank you for that. That's great. And look, we're just about to go into the intermission stage with Jonas for Get to Know You in 5 slot, the Your DMS slot. But before we do, just to keep you going interactive wise, what are your DISC profiles? So you've had a look at the profiling tool. If you've never seen it before, have a guess. Are you red, yellow, green or blue? And if you know the tool, then you should be able to just pop in quite easily which one of those you are or which combo you are. So just keep the conversation going. Tell us what kind of profile and style you've got. Let's see how many reds, yellows, greens and blues we have in the room, or owls, dolphins, dogs and what was the other one? One more. Lions. That's it. Thank you very much, Sue. Super. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce the intermission slot right now. So we'll come back to you in a while, in a moment, in 5 minutes, Elaine. So quick intermission. Let's go. So we've got Jonas coming into the room. Let me just find out where we are. Here we go. There's the one I wanted. Lovely. So that's the Your DMS video. I hope you like that. A little bit about our sponsors before we go any further. So Your DMS are specialists in document management solutions with over 20 years of experience in the document management DM industry. And at Your DMS, their knowledge and ability to translate and deliver technology to simplify the way organisations work has been proven over and over again, and highly effective time and time again. As I said, as they make businesses more efficient, you know, they can also save time and money and enhance their engagement with their customers and suppliers. So that's a little bit about Your DMS. Thank you very much for sponsoring us again. Let's just bring on our new guest. Let me just assign him to the room. And it's Jonas. How you doing, Jonas?
Hey, I'm doing good, thank you. Great to be
all
here.
the way from Denmark this morning, and sporting a bit of a beard too. I see we're starting a bit of a trend, me and you then, Jonas.
Well, if I have to get a beer before November, I have to start early. It is not grown by itself.
So there's a challenge for you, Jack, right? So we're going bearding, so fantastic.
Indeed. Great being here.
Great to have you on the show, Jonas, my friend. Groovy, to say, albeit very briefly. So we're very honoured. Fantastic. So, Jonas, tell us a little bit about your business that you've set up, you know, and why you're so passionate about what you do. Tell us a little bit about that, very briefly.
I think the easy way to explain it is actually a bit like Elena said, the last thing she talked about being, somebody told me that I wouldn't be able to walk, I guess when I was around 6. They told me that I had 10 years to be walking, and I flatly refused that was going to be the case. So I guess we are similar on that in that aspect. So, but what am I doing? I found out that I was going to be a wheelchair user. They were right, unfortunately, those bastards. So but I didn't
technical
want
word,
to
by the way, folks.
But I didn't want to accept that meant I was going to be a wheelchair user. Yeah. So I decided to go in and look what kind of solutions were available for me to continue walking. And I discovered exoskeletons. And
they look like this, don't they, Jonas? Is that one there?
Yeah, it is one, and it is actually me in one. So
there you go.
So I was trying one in Leipzig for some month ago, and it was brilliant. So this is absolutely going to be the future. So, but nobody was talking about them. There was a lot of people within the industry that was backclapping each other and saying that this was really going to change the world, but nobody outside the business was talking about them. And on the way, I kind of understood that this was not only the solution for me, it was going to be the solution for millions of people around the world.
Brilliant.
And that gave me a purpose for not only finding a way for myself, but to, I mean, my vision is that this technology can increase the health and fitness for a group of people that unfortunately have been seeing a lot of neglect and prejudice all over the world, and
Yeah.
I want to make them feel that they can contribute to the society on
Brilliant.
their own right.
Brilliant.
So that's basically why I'm doing what I'm doing. And what is it that I'm doing? I am currently working as a business consultant for Mitsubishi Chemical Advanced Chemical Group. I think they changed the name to now.
Yeah.
And they want to lightweight the health care industry, and I'm helping them achieve their goals.
Brilliant.
So that's
Brilliant.
basically what I'm doing right now.
Fantastic. Jonas, how can we help you? What things can we help you with in the coming weeks and months? You know, what kind of things can we do to help you as a community?
I mean, I need my name to be spread. I need to the knowledge about my business need to be spread.
Okay.
I've done a lot on LinkedIn. Basically, my whole business has been run on LinkedIn, because that was where I could do this. But I need people to understand that this is what this is going to be.
Okay.
This is going to change the world, but only
Absolutely.
if people
Yeah.
are willing to listen.
Yeah.
And I need people to listen. I want to be working with whoever want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I am actually probably going to England in the near future to test this exoskeleton very thoroughly.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. So help to promote your business is what you need. And we look forward to seeing you in England. I'd love to meet you there as well when you come over. By the way,
Absolutely.
in the room is Tilly Davies and Berdine. They both operate Marketing CX. Might be a really good link for you. They're marketing LinkedIn experts. So shout out for them here for you. So that might be a good interaction for you to pick up within the room. So you're very welcome. So get in touch with one another. Getting to know you, Jonas. Here are 5 quick questions for you, as in they get to know you in 5, right? So what 3 words would you use to describe your leadership style, Jonas?
Focused yet chaotic. Very driven.
Yeah, focused, driven, lovely. And what was the third one?
Chaotic.
Well, out of chaos comes fantastic things. Okay, thanks, Jonas. What superpower helps you to do what you do, Jonas?
My other unaccepting that something is impossible.
Yeah, just don't accept the impossible, right? Impossible is just a big word, right? That's all it is. Brilliant. I love that. So besides coming to England, what is one of the things on your bucket list, Jonas?
Well, that's of course the top one, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
So ever since I was a child, I wanted to be an astronaut, and everybody told me that I was an idiot because people in wheelchairs couldn't be an astronaut. And then ESA opened up for the possibility to become an astronaut.
Wow.
But I think they call them paranaut or something like that. And I want to be an astronaut.
Right. Yeah,
That's it.
Just save up some money. You'll be fine.
When I was a child, I saw the videos of the moon cars on the moon, and they were driving around up there. And I said, well, if they can drive a car up there, I might as well be able to drive a wheelchair up there. And that kind of became my go-to.
Exoskeletons on the moon. Hey, how about that? Okay, so favourite band?
AC/DC.
Straight away. What a band. Okay. And 3 top business or leadership tips that you can pass on that have helped you in your career, Jonas.
Don't be afraid to make contact with people you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if you only talk to people you know and people you agree with, you're probably going to get stuck.
Yeah.
And look into the future.
Oh,
Don't be
yeah.
and it's not going to be predicting something. You just look into the future and see where do you want to go, and make sure that what you do correspond with your plan for where you want to end up.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And have fun, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Have as much fun as you can.
Yeah.
If you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Totally right. I think there's a lot of love in the room for that comment. Jonas, thanks ever so much for being a sport, being our kind of get to know you in 5, being on our get to know you in 5 slide. Hope you enjoyed it too. Jonas's contact details will be in the comments shortly, so you can grab these easily. And there's a lot of love in the room, so you can catch up with the comments in a minute. We'll say goodbye to you for now. Thanks, Jonas. Thanks for being on the show. Cheers for now.
Bye-bye.
Great to see you. What a great sport. Thanks, Jonas.
Bye,
Brilliant.
Jonas.
Cheers, Jonas. Okie dokie. So back to the show, folks. Okay, so back to you, Elaine. We hope you all found that interesting and useful as a useful sidebar interlude, people. So now back to the show again. Back to you, Elaine. How we improve your workplace well-being using DISC. So how does investing in this approach make sense for the bottom line? In fact, before we get there, let's just talk about this question here, and before we even go there, let's just pick up on some of the comments here. So there's quite a bit going on in the comments field. So before we jump back in, Birdie, what's going on? Let's just pick up these quickly. Some of these.
All right. After you've asked where people would place themselves on the DISC chart, Janice said red, yellow.
Yeah.
Yvonne said, now she made a oops. So she said, apologies, you should read blue, green instead of blue, yellow.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right.
But Ali said, depending on the day, I can be any of the 4 types.
Oh, right. Okay, Ali. Righty-ho.
Yeah. Guy said green, blue.
Okie dokie.
Linda said, I'm fairly even on green, blue, and yellow, and slightly lower in red. So a mixture of them.
Mix. Brilliant.
Guys said at my young age, I am all for bounce in and out of all 4 if needed in a meeting.
Okay. Yeah, you can flex your style. Brilliant. I like that.
And then on your response to Tilly's question, Elaine, she said, that's a spirit. Nothing should stop you from living.
Yeah, spot on. Yeah. Tilly comes with a story as well. So, yeah, I get that completely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack said he cannot be part of the beard club. He grows 1 hair a year on his chin.
I like Matthias's comment.
Matteo said, Andrew, Jonas, and myself are real Vikings creating this new trend. My goodness, guys, please, just get a razor.
Brilliant. Great.
Matteo said, Jack, right, welcome to the Viking Club. Joe said she's a yellow and green.
Yellow, green.
Linda Wood said, I guess that means I can irritate absolutely anyone. After her placing herself on there. Matthias said, impressive work you seem to have been doing so far, Jonas. Please do keep us updated on the entrepreneurial journey.
Spot on. Lovely. Well said, Matthias. Great choice of band.
Joe loves AC/DC, clearly. Matthias said, I'm also a lifelong AC/DC fan. Tilly said that it's a great journey to endeavor in, and as you said, nothing is impossible. Get the word out there, everything else will follow.
Yeah.
And then Steve Whittle said, Jonas, I think there's a great opportunity with veterans and elderly charities in the UK.
Brilliant.
Their goal is to provide people with mobility solutions at all times.
Brilliant. Well said, Steve. Fantastic. Thank you for that. That's really great. Yeah, I love that. Nice one, Steve. Super duper.
And no one is getting rid of their beards, by the way. Janice just confirmed that.
That's it, Birdie Hugo, never. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so back to you, Elaine, again. So we're just approaching the sort of not quite wrap up yet, but shortly. How does using your DISC approach, Elaine, help to improve people's mental health and well-being as well as physical well-being? Give us a summary statement on that, Elaine, for us.
Okay, well, as we saw in the comments just now, people can modify their behaviour.
Yeah.
We can all do that. So somebody comes to an interview, sits there across the desk, giving all the blag about what you think they should, be. But that's not necessarily the true person. So typically when we go into the workplace, a lot of people will behave in a way that's different to who they are naturally. We can identify what that shift in behaviour, we can measure the shift in behaviour, and we have a kind of direct formula that shows how uncomfortable that person is in the situation. That has a detrimental impact on their mental and physical well-being. We can all modify to a greater or lesser extent. The system that I've created measures how much we can modify our behaviour. It also measures how much tension somebody is under. So that gives a measurable picture in graph form and numbers, so that we can then tell how much support that person requires. So I can identify team performance and illness even without even meeting a team, and fabulous technology now I can do it all remotely.
It's incredible.
So my DISC report that comes out is my own. I've been paying for a license for 20 years for somebody else's system. I've had my own created,
well done,
which leans towards health, and it's a report that is very comprehensive, and it shows how somebody is stressed, what they're likely to be stressed with, what the solutions are, and so on. So it's pretty neat, and I'm very proud of myself.
Well done. Yeah. And can people join in on that and get trained in your system, Elaine?
Yes, I'm going to be doing it as a license. At the moment, I'm in between, and I'm developing. I've been testing the concept for some time, but I've now pulled it all together, and I've got a super coach helping me with that.
Brilliant. So you're going to white label it.
I've got a halfway house. So there's a couple of flyers, I think, that you can put on the screen. That's kind of a halfway house later.
Yeah, the reason why I asked that is that Lisa Baker's listening, and she's a DISC expert as well, and she might find this really, really useful from her side, as well as some of your other people that are joining in as well, that have joined in on this show. So that might be useful for them to know that. So also, folks, if you have any questions for Elaine, pose them now. That'd be really useful, so we can pick up some questions for Elaine as we're going along. So it's an opportunity for you to pose a question directly to Elaine. Pop it in the chat and the comments field, and we'll pick them up from there. As I said, there's a little bit of a delay in the feed, so as we're kind of coming to, we'll come back to those in a moment. But as we're doing that, another question for you: how does investing in this approach make sense for bottom line profits for companies, for business owners, for leaders who are watching and listening, perhaps, so that we can all function better and in healthier ways? Within, because today's business is busy and it's frenetic, isn't it? And it's often very stressful. So, how does that affect the bottom lines?
Well, again, none of this is rocket science. If you have a happy team, you have a healthy team.
Yeah.
If your team is functioning better, they're having less days off sick, you're preempting the support they need. You save a fortune on training. You don't need to train people. You just need to help them to understand who they are, how they differ from other people in the team, training and support around that, and then what impact that has on their health. So if they're a DI, they suggest they go running at lunchtime. Or if they're in S&C, have a cozy book corner for them, or whatever it is. There's a whole ton of stuff that you can do to change the environment at work as well as the behaviour. But because we're all doing this hybrid thing these days, or a lot working from home, it's up to the individuals to take responsibility for themselves. But employers can do a lot to help them to do that. So it's a two-way street here.
Yeah,
but bottom line will improve as a result.
Yeah, I've just been writing some of those down. Yeah, guaranteed difference. And I like the way that you talked about responsibility. So, and what the company can do is give that responsibility over to employees and make it very clear. and to create a positive environment that people can adapt to and be themselves in, so that they can become more aware of their own health issues, and also make the company aware of what they need as well. And I think this two-way conversation sounds really important, this two-way street, Elaine. Massively important.
Absolutely. I just want to pick up on the modification thing again, because when we are outside, we're told all the time, push ourselves out of our comfort zone, that's the way we grow. Yes, I agree with that to an extent. But when employers are forcing change on the team members, and they're physically incapable of changing at the pace that the D's and the I's. So, for example, I've done a lot of work with lawyers and accountants, obviously because of my background and experience. And every single time, the leaders are different profiles to the team members. So the leaders are out there gung-ho, blasting a future and influential and getting on with things. And the team are left behind. And the team very often are so nice, they don't say that they're struggling. So they internalize the struggles, they take that home with them. The stress then goes on to their families. So there's a ripple effect. So let's look at how much somebody can comfortably modify. And this was set from the age of about 7 or 8 years old. This isn't something that we can change. We can learn to manage, but we can't fundamentally change the disc profile that we have. And that's a misunderstanding that's out there, that we can change everything. We can't change everything.
No, we can learn, flex.
We can modify. Absolutely. And it's the level of modification that I measure, and I can see physically what's happening. And when people are surprised when I say to them, you're probably having this symptom or that symptom, they find it amazing that I know. But it's not rocket science. When we understand this, it's a pattern, it's a process that follows.
But human beings have certain patterns which we can adapt and flex to a certain extent, right? So I like that. It's all about awareness, isn't it? We have a couple of questions, or a question in the room. I'm just trying to find it now. I think it's from Linda Wood, Berdine.
Yes, Linda asked, how much can someone's disc profile change over time and or the life experience they have?
Great.
It doesn't change. And this is why I started working in schools, because all the psychologists agree from the age of about 7 or 8, you can stretch it to 10, but mostly 7 or 8. The Jesuits have a saying, give me the boy till he's 7 and I'll give you the man. So the conditioning that we experience up to that point is crucial. And we are born with certain traits from our family, of course, but we pick up the traits in those early years. So that's exactly why I started in school. So the sooner we understand who we are, and some people who are non-assertive, being sent on courses to be more assertive, it makes my stomach churn and causes more problem than anything, because you cannot fundamentally change. You can learn to modify and manage your behaviour. But when shit hits the fan, all your behaviours, all your stress stuff that we've talked about earlier on in the comments, when you are stressed, your natural behaviour becomes even more exaggerated. So people who are high Ds become aggressive. People who are high Is start acting up and being completely stupid. The S's and the C's will be worrying more and more and more and more. And 75% of the health issues that we have in the National Health Service Walk-in Centre are proven to be gut-related, worry-related, anxiety, stress. So let's stop all this nonsense. Just learn who you are, understand your disc profile, understand how you differ to other people, improve your relationships, improve your health. End of.
And thank you, Elaine. And also, bosses and leaders, be aware that other people are different from you as well. And,
exactly.
And allow people to be who they are. That's the key to management and leadership, I think, these days. Guy, we've got a question from Guy, I think. Is that the one, Berdine?
That is Guy. Guy wants to know, what is the one thing that drives you daily, Elaine?
I made a promise to my mum, 2015, 3 months after I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I got the all clear. My mum was with me, and she made me promise that I would share with people how they can reverse illness, particularly cancers. Beautiful. And that's what drives me daily. If I'm having a down moment, my mum's with me all the time. She died a few weeks after that conversation. So, and that's why I created the Perfect Health Hub. which is a flyer that Andrew will pop on the screen in a minute.
Get there in a minute.
So that people could have access. If people can't afford to work with me as a one-to-one mentor on the health stuff, they can have access to a monthly membership hub, which gives them lots and lots of information, resources, tools, etc., to fix themselves.
Great. We'll come back onto that in a moment. Just want to finish the comments here. So Matthias says, great question there, Andrew, and splendid answer from Elaine. I love that. Matthias is just so wise. Sometimes I love these. Well, sometimes, always. He says quadruple bottom line: profit, planet, people, purpose. Oh, Matthias,
that's fabulous.
Come out. That's with really good. Corkers. Matthias is amazing. So thank you, Matthias. That is really, really interesting. Tilly says, so the DISC model helps you analyse your own preferred behaviour style and those of your team members, in turn improve team working, recruitment, customer services and resolving interpersonal issues.
It does.
It does. Fantastic. Brilliant. Okay. So, fantastic. Let's just bring up your call to action. So we've got 2 of these for you. This was the first one you talked about a minute ago. I think if I can get this one. This is the Perfect Health Club. Talk us about this one quickly, Elaine.
Okay. So this is a combination. It's a monthly membership. It's $29.99. And Leaderslive have got half price code there. You can put in happy birthday if you go to the link.
Half price code, folks. There you go.
Yeah. So, and that's because my Facebook group is 10 years old. I've got 4,000 people odd in my Facebook group. That's where the code idea came from. So that's something else you can do. Hop on the Facebook group, the Perfect Health Wellness Club, I think it's called on there. So I used to run a radio show and I've been interviewing people for ages. And Jonas, I'd love to interview you for my podcast as well. If you'd like to get in contact, that would be fabulous.
Brilliant. There you go, Jonas.
So the hub is there for DIY healthcare. If you're not feeling up to much, you can go on there, do a search, and there's all kinds of tools and resources that will pop up that will help you feel better.
Brilliant. And when you invest in that and you quote the Leaderslive offer code of happy birthday, you get, what was it, 50% off, did you say?
Yeah, it's $14.99 a month if you use the code. Otherwise, it's $29.99 a month.
Brilliant. That is so cool. So there you go. You heard it on Leaderslive. So quote that code and invest in Elaine's approach. And then you also have this DISC health formula approach as well. Tell us a little bit about this, Elaine.
Yeah, so this is what I'm trialing, and I'm looking for organisations, preferably law firms and accounting firms, because I speak their language, to use this health formula, so we can start getting some meaningful statistics that we can show the 4P bottom line that Matthias is talking about. So this is identifying your team members, the whole organisation, and all the stuff that comes out of that I've mentioned. But it also links with health. So there's a health piece to it where taking responsibility for health at home. There's no need to go to doctors, to go into any clinics or anything. I have 2 health assessments that come home. One is a hair analysis. One is a dry blood analysis, a finger prick blood test. So you do these yourself at home, send them back to the respective labs. There's 2 online assessments. One is the DISC and one is a metabolic analysis.
Wow. And
all of that information then gives me a way, that using my training in nutrition and so on, and mentoring, to show you how to get better, how to reverse, because we all have underlying oxidative stress. We all have organ challenges, lymphatic, adrenal problems, and so on and so forth. And most of us live with gut issues because of the fast pace of life that we live in and crap food that we put in us and so on and so forth. So that's there we go. So there's lots of discount there too for Leaderslive people if you want to be part of the beta testing group that I'm setting up now.
Lovely. So be part of the beta testing. So that would be really useful. And again, if Lisa Baker's listening, that might be useful for you as well. So thank you for that. And look, I hope you found this an enlightening topic today. This is an extraordinary conversation, which is what Leaderslive's all about, right? And we've loved hanging out with you on the show, Elaine, my friend, and with everybody else here in the community. It's been a fantastic hangout session today. Hope you've all enjoyed it as well. Hope you've enjoyed it as well, Elaine, and a chance for you to talk about what you're very, very passionate about. So please also join in our LinkedIn Leaders Live group as well. Elaine's part of that as well, to keep the conversation moving over there. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for us as well, please, folks. And Berdin's put all the links in the comments already. Can't tell you how hard it is building a YouTube channel, but anyway, that's that. And before I get on to what's happening in the next week. A quick word on the purpose and the why to Leaderslive. So, where am I? Let me just find out. I'm just looking for a slide here. There it is. There. Okay. So, yeah, Leaderslive is aspiring to be the talk show that generates business for us all, folks. Through extraordinary conversations that is community inspired, includes original solutions, networking ideas with a difference, and all leading to profitable growth for us all. That's the whole point in what we're doing at Leaderslive. And the motto here is I to the power of we. Love that. And it's freely available, folks. So for all leaders, directors, managers and entrepreneurs who are interested in business growth through edutainment and enjoy taking part in interacting in extraordinary conversations like we've just had with Elaine this morning, then this is the place for you to come. And we go every Tuesday live in the morning, 8:45. So that's a little bit about Leaderslive and a quick CTA on what I'm about. So I'm the author of a couple of books too. One of them's here. This is, if I can find it here, Developing High Performing Teams. I'm the published author of You Are More Than You Think. I develop high performing teams. That's what I do. And I fix your teams. I'm a fully qualified executive coach. As I said, high performance teamwork is my bag. An expert on leadership and programs. I'm also an NLP practitioner as well, master practitioner, and I run NLP diploma courses for business programs. So that's a little bit about what I do. And if I can just come back to where are we, Andrew Scene, there we go. So the goose for next week, folks, the goose for next week is that we will have on Tuesday the 23rd of August at 8:45 a.m. UK time, we'll be hanging out with regular contributor Tilly Davis, who's actually listening today, CEO of Marketing CX, and her knowledge on LinkedIn is second to none. And we'll be talking about all things. I'm just trying to find out, she did actually write to me about what we're talking about here, and I've just lost it. We'll be looking at
employee advocacy.
Thank you very much. We'll be looking at employee advocacy and what that means from a LinkedIn perspective. Thank you for saving the day there. And all things LinkedIn and marketing, which we've been talking a little bit about this morning with Jonah. So I hope you've enjoyed this today. We've just had a few comments here. Thoroughly enjoyed it, Elaine. A special thanks for the invite from Andrew and Elaine. Lovely, excellent session. Thank you, Beverly. Ellie says, I'm a master geographer of emotions and methodology for growth and significance in your personal and professional life. Would love to come and talk about how that works. Well, I'm sure we can make that work for you, Ali. So, I think that is a wrap. So, where am I? I'm just looking at, there we go. So, so we can't wait, be there next week, be there or be square. For now, we're going to say goodbye to you now. Thank you very much for joining in today. And it's a wrap from us. So we'll say goodbye to you now. Have a great week ahead, folks. And the podcast will be out shortly too in the next 24 hours or 48 hours. In the meantime, that's a wrap, folks, from us. And we wish you a great week ahead of yourselves. So wherever you are, from Elaine, Berdine and me, we wish you a great week. Cheers for now, folks. See you. Cheers again. Thank you very much. You can bop away to the outro music as we go. Thank you again. Cheers for now.